In this week's episode, we'll look at develop presets in Lightroom.
Adorama TV presents Exploring Photography with Mark Wallace, where you will learn innovative techniques on shooting a wide range of photography. Here's your host, Mark Wallace.
Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Exploring Photography right here on Adorama TV. I'm Mark Wallace. Well, in the last episode I talked about using picture styles on your camera to create these presets that sort of, when you take a picture, it creates a high contrast black and white image or a really vivid, highly saturated scenic photo. Well, if you're shooting in RAW and you want to do the same thing, well, those picture styles don't really work. You need to do something else. What you need to do is use a develop preset in Lightroom. Let's take a look right now. Well, let's take a look at the scenario that I have. I have this photo shoot that I did, and everything is very, very similar. So I had my model here, and I shot this on a very specific lighting setup. And it's a lighting setup that I want to use over and over and over again. So this makes sense for a develop preset. Now, I've already imported the very first image into my Lightroom catalog, and it's right here. And you can see it needs a lot of work. And so I'm going to hop over to the develop module and fix this up really, really quickly. So the first thing I'm going to do is fix my white balance here. Maybe I'm going to make that about 4400. That's pretty good. And then I also will increase my exposure because I want to make this look a little bit angelic. We're going to go in here. We'll increase the clarity just a hair. We're going to desaturate this because I want a sort of a desaturated look. So I'll take that down to about that. And then some other things that I want to do here. I'm going to take the blues up just a little bit to give it sort of that blue tone to it. And then the other thing that I want to do here is I want to make sure that my lens profile correction is turned on, and then let's go ahead and add a vignette to this. So I'll bring a vignette in here to something like that, and then I'll make sure the midpoint is a little bit smaller, and then we're going to feather this little guy here a little bit more so it's a little softer. And so we've done some just very, very basic edits to this image, and you can see before and after this orange nastiness has gone away, and we have this look that looks pretty cool. And of course, you might spend a lot more time on your image than that, but we just did something that was really, really quick. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to save this as a preset so I can use the same look over and over again. So I'm going to go over here to my presets, and I'm going to click on this little plus button here. And when I click that, it's going to ask me to name my preset. So I'm going to name this Adorama Demo, and I'm going to save this in my Mark Wallace preset. So I've created a group of presets called Mark Wallace. And then I'm going to make sure I choose everything because I changed the white balance and the tone and all that kind of stuff. But if you don't want to use all of these things, you can selectively turn them on and off and then do adjustments later on. But I'm going to say all of them. And then I will go ahead and create that. And now I have this Adorama demo here in my Mark Wallace presets. All right, let's go right back to our grid view here in our library module. And then I'm going to import the rest of those images. So this is going to open up here, and then I'm going to go in here, grab these images, and then the trick here is once you have your preset created, when you import over here on the apply during import dialog, go in and select your preset. And so I'm going to use my Adorama demo, and that's all set up there. And now when I import these, that look is going to be applied to all of these photos. And you'll notice it doesn't show up right away. It takes a little while to do this. There's little white dots on here saying, hey, we're working on it. But now all of my images have that same exact preset. Everything looks good, and I can use that over and over and over again. And you can also do this if you're tethered in the tethered dialog here. If you go in here and you say tethered capture, start tethered capture. Once you have everything set up, you say OK. Notice that there is a develop setting now, and you can choose the preset that you want. And now when you're tethered and shooting, everything that comes in is going to also use that preset. So presets are just great for making sure your things are consistent and creating a nice style for yourself. Well, there you have it. Develop presets are awesome. If you're like me and you shoot in RAW and you want to have a consistent style, well, develop presets are where it's at because you can set up something in the studio, and then every time you use that same lighting scenario, you can use that same develop preset, and everything is going to look exactly the same. And that's why I love develop presets. Well, thanks so much for joining me this week. Remember, there's tons of tutorials on the Adorama Learning Center, so zip over there and check those out. Make sure you look at all of our past episodes, specifically all the stuff we've done about Lightroom, to check that out. And remember, you can get Lightroom at Adorama. Just go to adorama.com or check the links right below this if you're watching on YouTube, and it'll show you how you can get that, so don't pass that up. And make sure you subscribe to Adorama TV. It's free, and that way you don't miss a single episode, so go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again next week. Well, today I'm talking way too much. Let me start over. Well, a lot of you guys are shooting in RAW, and I recommend you do that. You have a very lots of specific tons of control. Of course, a preset develop. Let me think through this before we start again. Well, if you like me, and if you like me, one of the things that you'd like to do is to be able to make this sort of a.
Want to get the most out of your Adorama photography equipment? Visit our Learning Center, where you can read popular articles, how-to tips, buying guides, and product reviews.